It's been busy on the farm. Definitely been absent for some days, but time well spent out in nature, that's for sure. So, it's been pretty nice out these last couple days, and, I've spent the time gathering some wood for the addition, which really isn't too much. You can kind of see it's just a bundle of sticks that I have in that bin, and that's what I kind of had said last video. All I'm really doing is, collecting sticks and making a nice little pile behind the stove and on the side that's, not touching the barrel, but it's going to help dry it out because some of it got a little wet outside, but not a huge deal because it's about 70 degrees inside of the addition there, and, we're set for, some more sunny days like we got going on here. So just wanted to show a little bit, at least what I'm doing with the rocket stove in the addition. You can see I just stack little sticks right in front, and you can see that this thing has got a lot of suction to it. You see it taking the lighter flame down into it. So that's kind of the cool thing to be able to show, how much suction power, even for a super long pipe like the rocket stove here, can handle going under the floor and outside. So, this is all I've been doing the last couple days, gathering sticks and more so lighting a fire during the evening time or afternoonish. And that's basically just to warm up the stove and kind of warm up the room. And essentially I'll only burn it for a couple hours just to, get the room nice and toasty, and then it'll hold on to the heat overnight. So, among, gathering wood and sticks and stuff like that, we've definitely been watching the calendar and counting down the days. So I've went ahead and got a lot of the addition a little more organized and kind of was cleaning up a bunch of stuff, moving buckets around, and then I was kind of moving plants around as well, essentially to get these racks ready for seedling trays. And you can kind of see I got the seedling trays to the right there with some seeds, but I was moving a lot of the fruit trees there, our orange tree, our lemon tree, our lavender, our tarragon, some of the other herbal plants, and, giving them a quick little spray. So, it's been nice and a lot warmer in there, so I've been spraying these plants down, mainly just, just for some seconds on top of the soil, not really watering things too intensely quite yet, because everything is still kind of coming out of hibernation a little bit and coming out of the slowdown period. So that's, along with the dry amendments that I kind of spread on the top of the soil, that's a little bit why I do the spraying too, because I do the top dressing of like blood meal or feather meal and stuff, and essentially spray that in as well as watering the plants. So it's kind of, can be a little tedious, that's for sure, but, just because it's not like you're dumping a bunch, gallons of water on a pot and then moving on. I'm just taking my time to spray things down, and, that's kind of the deal, is it's no rush. We do live a simple life, like I had said in the last video, and, we like to do things simply. We like to mimic nature the best we can, and, sometimes nature takes its time, and, for us, it's really no rush. And seeing as, too, we're still, into winter, according to the groundhog, we got 6 more weeks of winter, but it is actually about that time that we're getting ready for doing seedlings and getting everything prepared in those trays. So essentially, I had kind of rearranged some stuff. I was rearranging lights or maneuvering lights downwards to get closer to some of those seedlings and some of those strawberry plants as well. The strawberry plants have definitely been coming to life. They've been growing a lot more. I like to take my time sometimes and just, observe everything and just kind of watch it. It's kind of like watching paint dry, but I don't know. It's a kind of meditative, thing that happens in the garden for myself at least. And it's that peace of mind and, just time to take to, stay neutral and observe my thoughts, as well as, just kind of observing plants and having contemplations and whatnot. So I definitely, we maybe made a mistake putting all these racks together. And, you know, I think it's about 7 foot spacing in the addition here. And sometimes you can kind of see it gets a little hard maneuvering stuff and still having room, you know, but you can see I'm kind of scooching in between stuff, and, you know, it can be kind of a hassle trying to maneuver between all the different plants and, you know, chairs in the room, especially that black chair. That one takes up a lot of room. So, but I've got the bare root strawberries right there in front, as well as all my clone cuttings. And, you know, I was heating the fire up and keeping that going to keep those warm and closer so they come out of hibernation and hopefully spark some roots on those clones. So, you know, this is the other part of what I've been doing is this is what I do a lot for pepper seeds and tomato seeds. I do the soaking method. So you know, like the jalapenos and those other hot peppers, I will put them in the jar, and then I fill those jars up with water and essentially just let those sit overnight, up to 2 days, 48 hours is kind of the rule of thumb. And, you know, I have that water or that sprayer kind of sitting by the stove, so I do warm that water up quite, at least a decent amount, and that's what I was kind of doing, was testing it on my hand. So, but, you know, this is what I do for mainly the hot pepper seeds and tomato seeds. I mean, really, you can do this with a lot of different, you know, any seed almost, you know, is pre-soaking it, because then that way, you know that it's at least going to get its soaking time, and you'll kind of know by the morning, you'll see all those seeds sink to the bottom, and that'll let you know that, you know, all those seeds have soaked in the moisture that they need. So that's, and then you plant them, like we have our little seedlings planted in the tray. So after they soaked, I put them in the tray, and these are the tomatoes that I had done a couple weeks back. So you can see lots of growth with those tomatoes. Everything's perking up, and we've got pear seeds actually that sprouted up, and as well as I've got extra tomato seeds and, you know, the purple tomatillos there. So we've got a full tray of those, and the Tolly sweet peppers, which are hot, and the tequila sunrise hot peppers. So these ones actually should be pretty fun to do. So I'm pretty excited to do all these. And essentially too, because all these ones that I have inside the tomatoes and these hot peppers, I definitely have plans on taking clones of a lot of those. So that's a little bit why I did a lot of those early, and why I'm not honestly too worried about them being leggy. You know, stretchy seeds, it's not a big deal. For those that maybe don't know, you know, if they do get leggy and stretchy like that, that definitely, when you go to transplant them in the bigger pot, you actually just bury those a bit deeper, so the soil level, you know, makes the seedling look a bit smaller and not leggy. But all that stem growth underneath will end up growing roots over time, especially if you don't overwater it and don't drown it. Don't make the beginner's mistake of overwatering. But, you know, this is what Nick and I were doing as well the last couple days, is we have been getting all of our seedlings or our seeds planted for the season that we're going to end up selling. So we've been, you know, preparing. Maybe we're a week or two early, but seeing as these are going to be in the addition, you know, it is a bit cooler as opposed to being in the house. So that might, you know, it's going to play in our benefit that it is going to take the seeds a little bit to germinate. And you can see that when we're doing a mass amount of seeds like we are in all these trays, we're doing multiple trays, you know, 20-something trays, I think, like that, of all these seeds. So, you know, there's really no time or kind of space, I guess, to just really, you know, put all of those seeds into a glass jar and try and soak those overnight. Everything will germinate just fine, you know, planting it in these trays. And then you can see I'm spraying them down, and I spray them really good with the sprayer. For those that don't know, that is a chapin. So if you don't know what a chapin is, it's like a concrete, like chemical sprayer, but definitely popular in the growing scene because it can squirt out bigger particles, so you don't have to worry about it clogging so much compared to kind of that bottle sprayer that I had. Can't put, you know, I can mix compost tea in that chapin. So, you know, this is essentially the beginning of the garden season for real for us. You know, this is the ball getting rolling here. you know, we've got about 2 of these metal racks worth of trays going on. And so what Nick and I had been planting the last couple days was a lot of the cooler season crops. So we were doing our kale, our basils, our kohlrabi, the lettuce, mustard, chives, basil, yeah, I said kale and collards, and then doing peppers as well. So you can see the temperature inside the addition, 68, and it's pretty sunny outside. So that's, you know, the Earthship playing into action here, especially when we start getting these warmer days, these 40, 50-degree days. It definitely is going to be nice and toasty in the addition here, and we won't have to start a fire at all. So just keeping an eye on the weather, you know, that's one big key thing that I do, is keep my eye on the weather. You know, that's the other part of working with nature, is just being observant and keeping a neutral, positive mindset, you know, and knowing, or, you know, observing, you know, what is to come, what might be down the pipeline, you know, especially for out where we're at. You know, we got to watch the weather. We have to watch everything kind of around us. And so, you know, that's kind of a little bit of the first part here of Earthship gardening that I think I'll present. And, you know, this is what we're going to be doing for the next week or so, is getting seeds ready and planted and watching things grow. So everyone stay tuned for the Earthship gardening experience. You know, we might go over things everyone's heard of, but this is just our experience and how we do things up here on our piece of land, you know, and that is the freedom that we have for ourselves and our mind, and, you know, physically, mentally, spiritually, all those good things. So, you know, this is just the beginning of things. So we've definitely got a whole season's worth of projects, vegetable growing, plant growing, Earthship stuff. We've got more than enough things, and that's kind of just all we're waiting on right now. Is we're just waiting on Mother Nature to, you know, kind of start getting warmer, and then we'll definitely start getting outside, because I've got some of the swales to go over. I've got more swales to dig out. I've got terraces to dig out. So anyone that's made it this far and, you know, watched our journey, you know, this is, you know, our unfiltered life, essentially. You know, we're maybe not the most exciting people, you know, maybe, you know, we don't do the most exciting things, but I guess, you know, we're happy people, and, you know, the way we're doing things, you know, our lives are pretty fulfilled in that sense, and, you know, what we're doing and how we're living. So, like I said, we've got plenty more gardening to do. It's just the beginning of the season for us. You know, Nick and I still got a lot of stuff that we've got to do inside, and lots more seed planting and organizing. And yeah, soon we'll be transplanting a lot of these seeds. So we'll definitely keep people posted on how our gardening experience is going along the way here. So everyone that's made it this far, I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate you watching. If you like, comment, subscribe. Peace.